Why didn't they answer my text? What did I say wrong? They might be mad at me for something I did. Don't tell that joke again. They don't like it. I really need to get ready. What's wrong with my back? Maybe it's my health or the workouts I did. What should I put on? We had no idea what we were doing. I should have done some meditation this morning. It makes sense that I'm thinking a lot. A lot of people overthink, and there are many reasons for this. In this video, I'll use Stoic philosophy to show you how to stop overthinking in a really useful way. Stay tuned until the end. It's going to be very helpful. Whatever you want to call it, overthinking is the process of repeatedly and incorrectly thinking about a problem. Stoicism tells us to take care of the things we can control and let go of the things we can't. In times when we're overthinking something, we often try to use facts to support our crazy emotions. But Stoicism tells us to accept things as they are, not as we want them to be. You cannot take your mind off of a problem or thought process when you are overthinking it. Besides work, you only have time or energy to think about other things. There is a health issue, or you overthink what this person said, and you are ignoring these other aspects of your life. Stoicism tells us to keep a level head and put our mental well-being first. Overthinking can be a way of trying to control a situation and to feel more confident about what to do next. This is a quote about overthinking from a Stoic point of view. The brain tries to calm you down by going over all the possible outcomes and guessing what will happen. The Stoics would tell you to focus on getting your mind ready to accept whatever happens and doing things you can control instead. Your mind becomes muddled by your overthinking, which also becomes annoying. Stoicism instructs us to watch our thoughts clearly and not allow them to control us. So that overthinking doesn't take over our lives. It's very important that we find ways to get around this. It's hard to enjoy life when your brain is always going 100 miles per hour. By teaching us to embrace the present and concentrate on our own virtues and actions, Stoicism provides a road to peace. I'd like to share some instances where I used to overthink. Just so you know, I'm pretty tall. When I was younger, I always thought that because I was tall, I was making people nervous whenever I walked into a room or talked to them. Looking at this through the eyes of a Stoic, I see that those thoughts were out of my control. Marcus Aurelius, a famous Stoic, said, "We can't control what other people think of us, but we can control our actions and judgments." That's why, when I was younger, I would unconsciously try to walk less straight, so I wouldn't stand out too much. This was a standard case of overthinking, where I let my actions be dictated by what others thought. Stoicism tells us that our character and sense of self-worth come from inside us, not from how other people see us. The way I felt about sports was different. Since I like to compete, it's your fault if I scare you. But when it came to social situations, I was too aware of how other people saw me. Through time, I learned why I was doing it and stopped doing it. This shows the Stoic habit of becoming more self-aware and growing as a person. I worked at a computer shop in college and had an interesting experience. "Man, you walk in here like you own the place," a co-worker said about my confident stance. At first, I wondered if my confidence made him feel uncomfortable. Then I realized, in line with Stoic ideas, that his view of me had nothing to do with me and everything to do with his own fears. It was at this point that I realized other people's responses are often more about their own problems than about what we do. As I learned more about this, I realized there were other parts of my life where I was overthinking, especially when it came to other people's views. Stoicism tells us to focus on our own actions and goals instead of trying to get support from other people. I still overthink sometimes, but I'm quick to get my thoughts back on track. As in meditation, I've learned that the mind can be trained to focus on the moment and on what we can control. This is one of the most important ideas in Stoicism. I'm going to talk about ways to stop overthinking that are based on Stoic wisdom, since we are talking about answers. First, start to love what you don't know. I already talked about how high achievers and type A types need to learn to deal with the unknowns of life. Stoicism teaches us to find peace in doubt and to embrace what we cannot control. Getting used to and accepting the unknown means making your day less structured and more open to new experiences and challenges. Stoicism will be used to teach the next lesson, which is about the need for results. Depend less on specific outcomes. This is consistent with the Stoic principle of separation of spirit from desire and result. It seems a little strange because we all have hopes and dreams. Stoicism, on the other hand, tells us to be happy no matter what we desire. This doesn't mean giving up on our goals. It just means not letting them take over our lives. The third point is to learn to enjoy failing and making mistakes. Stoicism sees setbacks as chances to learn and become better people. Many people today don't want to fail, which means they miss out on important lessons and opportunities to grow. Accepting loss is a good way to build character, grit, and respect. This fits with the Stoic idea that the best thing about us is our character. When it comes to my own experiences, such as running this YouTube page and my business, I wouldn't have been successful without embracing loss. Failure not only keeps you grounded, but it also makes you value success more. We learn to value what we have and what we want to achieve by going through the opposite of what we desire. This philosophy has helped me grow because I've learned from many mistakes and successes. Now, talking about psychology on camera is like breathing to me. Finding your triggers is the next thing you need to do to stop overthinking. Think about what the ego does in this process. Stoicism tells us to pay attention to our actions and goals instead of how other people see us and who they are. For example, a father might overthink being late to his son's basketball game, not just because he's late, but also because it makes him question his image as an amazing dad. In this situation, Stoicism would tell us to look at our own opinions and values instead of sticking to our outside identities. The reputation of an athlete as a great athlete is frequently more important than the game itself when they overthink a game. Stoicism tells us to be open to the idea that we might fail and to accept that we are not perfect. In a strange way, this understanding can help us do better because it frees us from the weight of our egos. It's important to figure out how your overthinking is connected to your ego. If you think of yourself as a high achiever, it can be upsetting to overthink the possibility of not meeting this standard. Stoicism says that everyone needs to rest, even people who do a lot, and that our worth is not just based on what we accomplish. Next, change the way you're thinking about what you're overthinking. One important Stoic technique is reframing, which means seeing things from a different angle. For instance, instead of saying, "I'm an overachiever," you could say, "I do very well in things." This small change in point of view helps us see that life is complicated and that we can't always fit into one identity. Figure out what a CEO or a sociology master does. In some situations, they play these parts, but when they're not in those situations, they're just normal people with different hobbies and duties. It can help to stop overthinking if we remember that we have different roles to play in different settings. Stoicism tells us that we are more than our jobs and titles. We are complicated people with a wide range of strengths and weaknesses. Realizing and accepting this can be freeing and help you deal with overthinking better. Next, you might want to try what I call feeling meditation. Being able to feel the emotional effects of overthinking without judging them is similar to the idea of Stoic mindfulness. Often, our thoughts gain strength when we feel connected to them. The Stoics teach us that what bothers us is not what happens, but how we think about it. We can gain perspective and lessen the effects of our feelings and thoughts by relaxing and watching them without judging them. This exercise can help your mind become calmer and more peaceful. I suggest that you use guided meditations, preferably ones that use binaural beats. You can easily find these on sites like YouTube. Alpha binaural beats are especially good for slowing down a mind that is too busy. Beta brainwaves, which happen during busy, aware processing, are linked to the racing thoughts that come with overthinking. Alpha brainwaves, on the other hand, are linked to calm and meditative states and can help clear the mind. This slower, more relaxed state is consistent with Stoic principles of composure and clear thought. Feeling meditation can help slow down your brainwaves, which can help you feel calm and in control. This is consistent with the Stoic principle of watching and accepting our thoughts and feelings without letting them control us. Last but not least, it's important to chill on the catastrophizing. Stoicism teaches us to tell the difference between things we can control and things we can't. The worst things that could happen are often not only out of our control, but also very unlikely to happen. We can lessen needless worry by accepting that we cannot control everything. Stoicism tells us that we can handle what we fear, and that things are usually not as bad as we think they are. In conclusion, using Stoic principles in these activities can help you deal with overthinking in a strong way. We can develop a more tranquil and logical mindset by accepting what we cannot control, watching our thoughts and feelings without judgment, and realizing the power of our senses. Next, think about the Stoic way of dealing with adversity. You'll change and adapt if the worst-case situation does happen. Stoicism teaches that we are much more adaptable and resilient than we give ourselves credit for. For example, if someone thinks they have hurt their muscle but actually just tore it, they will feel anxious and let down at first. It's normal to feel this way, but Stoicism tells us to focus on how we respond to things instead of the things themselves. What happens to you doesn't matter as much as how you react to it, said the Stoic philosopher Epictetus. What happens after the initial shock and pain? Over time, this new world starts to feel normal. The person may need surgery or time to rest, but they start to get used to their new situation. A big part of Stoic philosophy is this idea of adapting. It demonstrates to us that we can overcome adversity and make progress toward our goals. The Stoics stress how important it is to see problems as chances to progress. To sum up, the Stoic way of thinking is to accept the worst-case scenario, learn from it, and use it as a way to become stronger and more character-driven. The idea is to know that things will get better over time because we can change how we see and react to things. Stoic resolve is based on accepting new facts and making changes to fit them, no matter how hard they are. Understanding that overthinking is basically a mind game is a big part of dealing with it. One important thing to remember is not to overthink the overthinking. There are times when this meta-perspective is both enlightening and confusing. Stoicism teaches us to be aware of our thoughts without getting caught up in them. It's okay to admit when you're overthinking, but don't get stuck in the mistake of overthinking about your overthinking. The Stoic principles of mindfulness and non-judgment are consistent with this. From a Stoic point of view, one of the most important things we can do is judge ourselves and others less. Stoicism says that we should think about our own actions and goals instead of judging others. When you lower your standards of judging, you naturally lower your bad emotions and irrational ways of thinking. Remember what the Stoic philosopher Marcus Aurelius said: "We control our own minds, not events that happen outside of us." If you understand this, you will be strong. Mindfulness of language and the power of words are also part of this method. Words are more than just a bunch of letters. They have meaning and energy, and they can have a big effect on how we feel and how others feel. As Stoics believe, our words and thoughts have a big impact on who we are and how we live our lives. So it's important to be aware of what words you use and how they affect other people. Stoicism encourages us to think about our thoughts and words and see if they are in line with our beliefs and virtues. This kind of self-reflection is called awareness. We can better control our tendency to overthink and develop a calmer, more logical mind by engaging in this kind of thoughtful awareness. Next, work on talking to people. Stoicism tells us that it's better to talk to people directly and clearly than to try to guess what they are thinking or read their thoughts. We tend to overthink things when we try to psychoanalyze other people from afar. We don't have to guess or assume as much when we talk to each other directly and ask questions. This gives us perspective and clarity. This practice fits with the Stoic idea that you should be honest and look for the truth through direct experience and questioning. Also, conversation isn't just talking to other people, it's also talking to yourself. This is like the Stoic habit of asking yourself questions. Having a chat with yourself can help you stop overthinking. Ask yourself, why am I doing this? This is a type of Stoic meditation in which you think about your own thoughts and reasons for doing things. Writing in a journal can help with this process because it lets you express and explain your thoughts on paper, which can help you understand yourself better and clear up your mind. When you talk to yourself, you become more in touch with your inner self, which the Stoics call self-integration. When you're in this state, other people's ideas and views don't matter as much because you know yourself so well. This is similar to the Stoic ideal of self-sufficiency. Finally, you might want to say, "It doesn't matter," over and over again. This saying can be very freeing. Stoics believe that many of the things we worry about are out of our control and don't really affect our character or moral choices. If we believe that these outside factors don't matter, we can pay more attention to what does, our actions, decisions, and reactions. Stoicism teaches us to see life as a collection of experiences, telling us to live in the moment and follow our values rather than getting bogged down in overthinking things outside of our control.